What's the haps? I'm Meroka, and today I'm going to be taking a quick look at Axes and Acres by BrainGood Games. This is a kind of a single-player board game, strategy game thing with some very kind of light deck-building elements, I suppose. It's an odd beast. It's very, very, very minimalist, but it's got some kind of engaging strategy. So we're going to take a look at this today. I am on, this is level 4. That sounds like I haven't made a lot of progress. The levels are actually kind of long, so whether I'll actually get to finish an entire map here today or not, I don't know. Probably not, I would suspect, but we shall see. Have a look at the settings first. We have resolution and sound options. Sound and music on separate sliders, that's good. As I say, it's really, really super minimalist, so I can't really think of much else I would like to see. You'll see some of the UI elements weirdly kind of don't seem to be the right resolution. I don't know, that's a bit odd. Some of it's like the check marks are nice and crisp and clean images, and then these arrows are just kind of not. I don't know. There is quick move, which I presume is designed to speed up your gameplay. I can't actually figure out what difference that makes turning it on or off. I couldn't actually see any significant difference, so I'm not rightly sure. And then we can reset all data, which actually, to be fair, is as far as I can make out, the only way to go back and play old levels. If you finish a level, the way it works is this number increments by 1, and the difficulty goes up by a little bit, and you just keep playing until the game gets harder and harder and harder and harder. And if you want to step back down to do a sort of more moderate level, you kind of can't do that. All levels are kind of procedural anyway, so you're not going to get the same level twice. If you keep playing, you'll just get new things each time. But yeah, if you want to go back to the start, you'd have to reset all data and go back to 1, which is a little unfortunate. I feel like being able to just adjust this number to any difficulty you wanted. Say, I was like, well, I want to do a level 3 level would be nice today. But today maybe I want to do a 7 or something. I don't know. It seems kind of odd just to say, yes, no, you can only do the hardest level you've managed so far. At any rate, let us do a difficulty 4 level, I suppose. Let's head on in. The cockerel will crow, and we will be able to build things and do things. So we get these. You saw those get rolled. We start with 6. They are actually dice. If you hover over them, you can see what the sides of those dice are. There will be other dice available to us later as we progress. So we get to roll those 6 dice. Those 6 dice have 2 builder sides, 2 worker sides, 1 gatherer side, and 1 medic, healer. It's basically mostly used for reproduction, kind of adding more dice to your pool. You're kind of adding extra tokens so you get more stuff to do each turn. So yeah, the healer cross reproducer. I'm not sure what you actually call that worker, so hey, there you go. We also have some cards down here. We have a deck of cards. We start off with some basic cards. As we go along, by interacting with, using certain dice with certain buildings, we're able to add more advanced, more powerful dice, adding more powerful cards to the pool. So we'll have better options available to us later if we make the correct progress. So the way the game works is not very intuitive. I would definitely recommend playing the tutorial rather than jumping straight into this, because even with the tutorial, it's a little hard to wrap your head around. It took me a few attempts to actually do the tutorials, because I kept not following the instructions very well and messing it up. I was like, I assume I know what I'm doing, and I just didn't. So each of these characters are each of these dice represent a character that we can place on the board, but we can also use them as a kind of a resource to activate other things and use them to make other things to do stuff. So I suppose the best way to demonstrate is to do this. I will take one of my builders, we will place it in a house, so the builder's now on the board. Each character you place on the board will consume 1 food the moment you place them. They don't consume more food over time. You'll get 1 food by default at the start of each level, each day even. Each turn in the game you'll get 1 food, which is a way of kind of ensuring you're never going to be totally stuck for something to do. You can't just use up all your food and end up not having a play left. You will slow yourself right down to a point where you might be difficult to make a play at that point, but it's never going to stop you from playing. So we have a builder. We start with 2 wood and 1 stone resource. That's going to be enough to let us build. Basically, it gives you enough to build a farm, and 1 stone. If we look through, these are basically all the things we can build and what they cost, and if you hover over them, what you can do. So 1 stone is basically, I think the basic intention is that you build a guardhouse, because you're going to want to build a guardhouse early-ish on. There are enemies in the game, they will attack you, you're going to want guards. So we've got these here. That is a spawner that will spawn barbarians. There's another one over here. They are randomly placed by the level. When that timer hits 0, in 7 turns, that will spawn a barbarian. The spawner will move somewhere else in the level. And then in 9 turns, so another 2 turns after that, another one's going to go there. So if we build a guardhouse and set one of our dice to be a crusader, we can move it there and destroy it. But it's going to be a little while I get some resources going before we can actually start working on those. Barbarians are nasty because they do just kind of destroy everything in the path. If a barbarian moves into a space, it will just destroy whatever's in it. Be it a tree, be it a rabbit, or be it, I would imagine, your own resources. I usually try and get them killed before that happens, to be honest. So we've got a builder. We need to move him off the house so that he can build things. So the dice tokens can be used in exchange for moves. So I'm going to want... I don't think I'm going to need so many workers right now. So convert a worker into 2 moves. You need to spend those moves immediately. So it says moves remaining 2. If you don't spend these immediately, if you start using them for other things, you will lose those moves. I feel like it would be nicer if you could kind of bank those moves and just spend them over the course of your turn, but I guess the game has been designed this way, fairly intentionally to be fair. So we move him there. I actually don't need to use my other move. I only needed the 1 space there. And then I don't have any cards that would work. I would need a build card to be able to tell him to build something. I suppose what I could have done is move 2 builders there, but hey-ho, a little late now. So if I take 1 other dice and then click on that builder, I will consume that dice in order to activate that builder's ability, which is, you know, building things. So what I'm going to want to build right off the bat is that farm. We're going to want to get a farm going early so we've got a source of food. So... yeah, in retrospect, actually, I should have played 2 of them, so that was kind of a misplay, but I can still do it this turn, actually. Convert that to moves, move him to there, and finish building. There we go. So it takes 2 builders, or 2 build units at any rate to do that. Some cards will allow you to build multiple stages in one go, so they're more effective like that. And that's the end of my turn. So the spawners tick down, we're a little close to seeing them, which is not fun, but there you go. So now we've got a new selection of dice. Our dice have been re-rolled, and we can play these again. So, what am I going to want to build off the bat? Well, I guess I want to put a worker down there. I probably want to put a gatherer down there as well. I could play all of these cards to get bonus stuff. In fact, I probably will. So I'll play my moves. I'll move the worker to the field, and I'll move that to there. So the moves, as I say, they all need to be moved in one go, but you can distribute them amongst multiple dice. So I can if I converted one of those to 2 moves, I could have moved 1 and then 2, as long as I did it all in one go. If I started playing more builders and things, I would have lost those moves, which is odd. But hey, that's the way the game goes. So I still have one move remaining, but not much I can do with it right now. So I can play the cards. I can't use the bonus effects. The bonus effects on the bottom of the cards, you will note it says work and work don't recall. If I take a dice that has that particular face on it and use it on that card, it will activate the bonus ability, which basically means I can tell that worker to do his job, for planting seeds in the field and generating food, and it doesn't recall the worker, which means I could use him again shortly afterwards. Same for the gathering. If you play a gatherer dice on the gatherer card, you get bonus resources when you gather, which is kind of nice. As it is, I can't actually activate those powers right now, so I'm going to play the work card. We're going to work. That dice is going to be consumed, go back into the draw pool. 5 food is going to be placed on the map. The farm, you can see next crop 4 food, so those crops are going to get reduced each turn. Farms do need to be periodically rebuilt in order to gain maximum yield. It will yield 5 the first turn, then 4, then 3, then 2. When you plant the seeds to generate 2 farms, it will expire the farm, it will generate 2 food, and give back 1 of the wood you used to build it as well. And then you need to rebuild the farm because the farm won't exist anymore. So those expire. That's not just an infinite source of food, that's a very limited source of food, but nonetheless. As you can see, there's sort of, at the minute, there are ways to get more wood, but for the moment there are limited resources of wood on the field. So unless I were to build a lumber yard, which is actually pretty useful and something you should probably get fairly early on, yeah, you need you're going to have a finite source of food, really. So you need to get a lumber yard up and running early-ish in the game. But I don't have any wood to do that right now, so I'm going to have to go and cut down a tree to do that. So let's activate our gatherer. In fact, let's not do that. If I right-click, I can stop that. Let's play the gatherer card. That generates a bunch of food. Wonderful. We have 6 food. We can deploy 6 people. We can deploy some builders now. That might be kind of good. I would like to... What do I want to do? I would like to deploy a builder. I think I'm going to build a road out this way. I might put 2 builders there. And then we're going to convert one of them to movement. Move them both up there. I kind of would like to move one of them a space further, but never mind, I don't have the resources to do that right now. And I'm going to use that builder to use him to build a road. Roads don't require any resources other than 1 builder, 1 turn to build. Boom, there we go, we've got a road. As indicated by a signpost. That's the road icon. So that dice is on the board. That dice doesn't go back into the draw pool. That won't get rolled at the end of this turn. Ideally, you want as few dice on the board as possible each turn, just to give you the most rewards each turn. So there we go, we've got these dice now. I would really like to get a chance to use 2 of the breeder dice just to give me more resources to work with, but as you see, it's only 1 in 6 chance that any dice is going to be a breeder, so that's not going to happen terribly frequently early on. As you gain more dice, once you do get that opportunity, obviously that opportunity is going to come up more and more often. So that's nice like that. So I want to pop that there. I want to pop that there. I want to play my move 3. I'm going to move that to there, move that to there, move that guy to there. I can use build 1 to build a road. We can use that to re-roll, or I can just use it to gain food. If I were to play the bonus power, I would just stock up my food. However, I'm planning to use this on that to generate food. I think I would rather just gather that 4, so that we're back up to 7. And I could build 3, which would allow me to build something more complex and interesting. I don't know if there is anything... Well, I haven't got any resources. I suppose I could build the guardhouse. The guardhouse wouldn't be a bad one to put there. It would be fairly close to that spawner, which would allow me to go on a crusade and destroy it soonish, which seems like that would be a useful thing to do, otherwise we're going to wind up with barbarians. I might build that. I don't know. Now I'm going to build another road for now, I think. Keep building a road. I want to get to these resources. I want to make it easy to get to those resources. The roads basically allow you to move all the way along the road in 1 turn. So if I were to move a character from there, I could get to there in 1 movement space. Instead of going 1, 2, 3 movements to get there. That's just 1 movement now. And anywhere along it is 1 movement as well. Anywhere to the side of any of these roads, which makes it a really good way to get around the map very quickly and efficiently. So let's end our turn. We've got a new work card. What have we got? So we've got 2 gatherers. That's not much use to us right now. I could re-roll those 2 gatherers, I suppose. That's probably not a bad idea. Yeah, I'm going to re-roll a builder and a gatherer, I think. I got another worker. That's not bad. A worker's not bad because that would allow me to get food from there, or to cut down those trees. I'm thinking cutting down the trees is probably the more likely useful option right now, because then I can get some wood. The wood would allow me to build a lumber yard. I'm thinking probably on this space. That'd be good. I will want a gatherer as well, actually. I could use more movement than this, but I don't have it at my disposal right now. So sacrifice a builder to go to there, move him onto the space. Another builder, yeah, move that to there. Another space, move that to there. And then I've got 2 tokens. In fact, I have my worker there. Actually, no, step back. I could work and don't recall, because then I could have it kill a rabbit next turn as well. I might do that, yeah. Work but don't recall. That guy, so he stays there, he stays on the map, and then I can use my gatherer to collect the woods. So we've got some building resources, that's on the map. That's not 100% ideal because I don't get to roll it this turn, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be alright. I have a breeder, that's actually going to be pretty important. I think I want to prioritize doing that just to get more dice to work with. Breeding obviously costs 2 food because you've got to put 2 people on the board, and costs you 2 dice. You've got to click on 2 dice in order to generate it, but now, next turn, I will have another dice, which is rather nice. So, what can I do here? I can move, I can use a card to move it to there, and then I can kill the rabbit, but that's literally all I can do right now. Would that be the right option? It might be the right option. Yeah, kind of a waste of a move card, but I want that rabbit dead. Boom! Rabbit turns into 5 food. There's a likelihood that it could have got killed by a barbarian if I let this thing spawn. That was more of a problem, but I can't get to that one very easily, so we're going to end the turn. If you have dice left over at the end of a turn, by the way, there's this one here, which we haven't interacted with yet, which just allows you to turn a dice into a stored move, which is kind of fun, because it allows you to play it on the next turn. You can just store away resources for the next turn. If you're running low on food, you can just turn lots and lots of dice into stored moves and have loads to deploy next turn. So I've got 2 more breeders. Again, I want to get as many dice as I can. Yeah, reproducing. So there we go. Reproduce. I've got more dice to work with next turn. I would like to get a... What would I like to get? I would like to get my gatherer to there, so I've got 5 food, but I'm not urgent on food just yet. What it would be nice to do is to get that builder into place and try and start building a lumberyard. Lumberyard takes 2 wood and 1 turn to build, so we can get it built pretty much instantaneously. So let me do that. Move this guy to here. I can build that. Now I've got a lumberyard. So the lumberyard produces, it has to be built next to a tree on the board, and it produces 1 wood every turn, up to a maximum of 3 wood. It only holds a maximum of 3, but it's a very, very good way to get one of the core resources for building all your things fairly early. And it's connected to my house by a 1 turn step, so it's about as convenient as I can get. It also allows me to deploy builders from there, so if I wanted to start with my builder on that space, I can do. Builders can be sent to there, which is kind of cool. Different buildings have different deploy options, so if somebody is, for example, on a crusade, they can be deployed immediately there. That's cool. In a church, what have we got? Churches can't deploy anyone, actually, in fact. But different buildings have different deployment options. A hunter's hut, in fact, does. That gives you victory points for hunting, and allows you to deploy gatherers from it. Victory points, we should probably note, is basically what I'm trying to work towards, and I'm probably doing quite badly at right now, because I have 1 out of 8 victory points. We need to do it within 6 turns, and, well, yeah, I need 8 victory points by round 12. I get 3 for building a fountain, which is going to require some stone, and I haven't got a quarry anywhere just yet. Having 2 builders gives me 4 points, which would be a useful one, but you can only do each of those once, and I get 1 point for chopping down a tree. So that's awkward. The fountain, I think, is going to be one of the best bets, but how much does the fountain cost me? Fountain is 2 stone and 1 wood. It's not hard to build, but I would have to get to work on it now. If we fail to meet these criteria, I will just fail the level. If we meet these criteria, as soon as I hit 8 points, this tab will become inactive and this one will become the new goal. So then we'll need to get to 18 victory points by round 22, and excavation is an event that will unfold immediately as soon as this round becomes active, which will give us some new stone. And then in round 3, one of our peasants. Basically, we just gain an extra dice by the looks of that. All of these are randomized as well. As I say, the whole thing's procedural, so the map's going to be different each time. These goals are going to be different each time. Sometimes I suppose that's going to allow it to be a little easier than others. For starters, these quarries were a fair way away from me. These are difficult for me to get to right now. And I need to build a fountain. A fountain is going to be one of the fastest ways to getting to that, because building a fountain is infinitely repeatable. If I could get a good supply of stone, I could build many fountains, and we could hit 8 points pretty comfortably. Chopping trees is infinitely repeatable, we can do that, but the have goal can only be done once, so I can only have 2 builders once over. I can only have 5 roads once over. I can only have 2 priests once over, but the others can be done multiple times. So I really need to start thinking about getting that fountain. I don't know quite how I'm going to be doing that. I figure I could build actually, if I can deploy my builders there, I could build a road across to that. That wouldn't be a bad option. At any rate, it is the end of my turn. I do need to start thinking about moving things. I only got 1 builder there, which is unfortunate. I can't actually make any more characters either. I have my limit of 8 dice. Your limit is basically 4 workers per house, so you need to build more houses. This is all very complex, and it will take a little bit of getting the hang of. If you don't follow everything that I explained today, I don't blame you, but I think it's really interesting. It's one of those games that you can just sink a lot of time pretty comfortably into, and it's a one more turn kind of game. It's like, let me just see what I can, just do a couple more rounds, I reckon I can do something cool here. So I do want rid of these spawners. These spawners are nasty. It's a shame there's nothing for killing spawners until we get to the next round, but it would be nice if I could get rid of that. I could build a guardhouse, but that's literally all I can. I can re-roll 2 dice, though. And what would I want to re-roll if I were going to re-roll? I would re-roll 2 workers, because I have loads of workers. And there we go, I've gained another... So many healers, I don't need the healers at all. Fine, I will deploy a builder here. Actually, I'll deploy both builders here. I literally don't need those for anything right now, so I'm going to move him there, I'm going to move him there. I have a build 3, which would be good for building a guardhouse. Takes 2 turns, so it'd be good for just throwing up a guardhouse right now. Except I don't have a builder to activate it, so that's not going to be very useful to me. Never mind, never mind. What I was wanting to build there was a road, so we can start getting to that quarry. I think I'm going to run out of time on that one, if I'm honest. Activate that. What I was wanting to start building there was my guardhouse, which will allow me to start training people to actually fight things. And is there much else I can do right now? I can deploy a gatherer, I suppose, and try and get it to that food. It's probably not a bad call, all things considered. Deploy the gatherer. 2 moves. I think I can do this. 1 space to there. 1 space to there. And we can use that to move it to there. And there we go. 5 food in my inventory. That's good. End of turn. Okay, so now that barbarian has spawned, that's going to start rampaging around the map. It's going to move 1 space at the end of each turn and destroy whatever it hits. So it's probably going to destroy that quarry. Well, it will destroy a quarry or a tree this turn, which is not great. Trees are currently my victory points, and the quarry is a source of stone. If it destroys both those sources of stone, I'm in a rather bad place, so I could really stand to kill those. So they can be killed by a crusader, or I think by moving 2 workers onto it. If you move 2 workers onto a barbarian, it will kill it. If you move a crusader onto it, it will kill it instantly. I still can't get those crusaders until I can get my guardhouse up and running. The spawners can also then be destroyed immediately with a crusader. So we're going to want to start making that happen soon. So let's get a builder there. I could gather that wood, which would be rather nice. That would let me start building things as well. I could stand to get some stone pretty quick fast, really. So what other builds have I got? I can build another road here. I still have a worker to move as well. So yeah, I'll use my move 3. So I'll move him along the road to there, move him along the road to there, and move that to there. I can use the gather card to gain 3 wood out of that. I can't use any workers. We're going to use that to build. I could build a lumberyard. I don't want to build a lumberyard. I could build a road though. That would be good. And then we can finish building that. Now we've got a guardhouse. And I can move one of my builders to that, I suppose. And end turn. Oh, because I still got movement left, it's complaining, but yeah, I do want to end there. And then, basically, as you see, the guardhouse, if you put a worker, a builder, or a gatherer on it, it will immediately turn it into a crusader. If you move a healer onto it, it will actually save you 4 moves, which is actually a pretty nice one. So I probably want to get that into the guardhouse pretty quick fast, because then that's going to allow me to go crusade some stuff, actually, to be quite honest. So I want to convert that one into a crusader. I would take 2 moves, move that to there. And I still have a move remaining, I might as well move that to there. And just convert that to 4 moves. So that now goes into my stored moves. That's a really good way to stack up some moves. In order to use that, just click on that. You can click that multiple times to stack up the number of moves, but as is always the way, those moves remaining that go on there will be lost if you don't use them. So you might want to be cautious and use them one at a time, otherwise you could end up using the wrong amount. So boom, there we go, that spawner got destroyed. That's not going to make any more barbarians, but I want to try and get to that one soon as well. With that in mind, I might just try and make another crusader and destroy that. But I also have 3 turns to gain 7 points, which is also something I should be focusing on, and I'm not. That is a problem. I will grant you a problem right now. So in order to build that quarry, what do I need? I need 2 wood. I have the materials required to build that quarry. The thought occurs that maybe that is something I should be doing right now. So let's move that to there. Let us take that and move that to there. I want to get this quarry built as soon as possible. I'm going to move this guy to here. And what can I do? I can move it another space? I guess I can. I'm also really low on food, which is not ideal. Yeah, I'm going to do that to move that to there. End turn, yep. That barbarian destroyed that quarry, which I don't like. If he gets much closer, that's going to be a real problem for me. That actually is probably more of a priority than that. I think I've lost this game, honestly. I do think I have. I could convert a lot of these healers in. I still haven't got the space for more workers, so I do need to put the healer into there. It's weird referring to them as workers. It refers to the dice individually as workers, but then on the workers there is a worker face, which can be a little confusing. So these guys are generally broadly referred to as workers, but I think there's maybe the intention of changing it to peasants. I think in some cases it does refer to it as peasants. I'm not sure right now. At any rate, I need to activate some of these guys. I have a builder, which is going to allow me to build 3, which is great because that means the quarry's up and running. I might just... Yeah, actually, I got a good plan here. So if I move that to there, I can... Oh, I can't work Don't Recall. I was hoping to be able to work it twice. I can't work it twice. That's going to be trouble. That is going to be trouble. Alright, fine. Let's store these guys. 2 moves. I want that to move to there. That to move to there. I'm just going to use my work card on that guy. That gets me 1 stone. How much did I need for a fountain? I needed 2, so I need to get another one. I need to build like 2 of those fountains and cut down a tree in 2 turns. I can tell you for nothing that's not happening. But let's get those 2 dice back into the reroll pool and end the turn. And there we go. Start of turn bonus food. I got 1 food. I need to hit the farm pretty quickly actually. Otherwise, not much is going to happen. I can just use that to store turns, to be honest. That's not bad, actually, yeah, because now I've got 8 moves. 8 moves spare. That's great. Gatherers, but either gatherers and workers can also gather stone from a stone pit. Or indeed a quarry. In its basic form, it is a stone pit. The stone pit requires you to work it and then gather from it in order to gain 1 stone. If you convert it into a quarry, both of those gain you 1 stone per use. Also, if I use gather plus bonus... which is actually a really good one. It'd be a great one for me to get to then this turn if I could. I totally can. I can totally do that. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1 more. Let's get it over there. Then I can use gather bonus. Boom. I have 3 stone and 1 wood, which is actually way more than enough to build a fountain. But again, I need more fountains. I've lost this game, I can tell you that for nothing. Where are we at? I could stand to gather that as well, actually. And I could stand to kill that, and I could stand to kill that. That's heading towards my quarry. I actually need to get that killed. But I'm short on food as well. This is a problem. I have no food remaining. I can't even deploy it. I've actually fluffed this. There's not much I can do with those. I can't use any of those cards to gain me any resources. I literally need to end my turn. So let's kill my rabbits. There's 2 turns left. This is the end of it, actually. I failed this level. This one is slightly too challenging for me, or maybe the resources were slightly poorly placed. Hard to say. So I need to do that. I need to move it 1 space onto the farm. I need to work the farm, but I don't have any food. So once again, I actually can't gather anything. So I can stack up a whole bunch of moves, but there's not much I can do because I can't gather it. And that is the failure. You're out of time. Next time you'll prevail. Which I guess... Oh, I guess that's the first time I failed. So actually, I guess the difficulty drops down a level if you fail. So if you fail the difficulty 4, I guess it drops back down to 3. So there you go. That is Axes and Acres. It would have been nice to have shown you a little bit more of the stuff, but... There you go. I think the main thing that's going to hold people back on this is going to be the visual style. It's very basic. I think if you just think of it as a board game and a strategy, it's really cool, but some people I think are going to look at this and just go, this looks like ass. I'm not sure if this was an intentional choice or if maybe it's a case of, you know, programmer art, as it were. That's right next to our house. That's actually a pretty good place to kill that in this instance. So you can see I've got a totally different level this time. So I think if you enjoy this gameplay, this kind of core game loop, which I'm actually finding quite engaging, surprisingly engaging. I think there's a lot of replay value in this. I think some people are just genuinely going to have trouble with the art style. And you know what? I can't help but feel... Is there an opportunity in the Steam Workshop for this? I have no builders. I can't actually build anything this turn. Wow, that's amazing. I can gather some wood, though. So yeah, I think maybe is there an opportunity in the Steam Workshop to do like custom tile sets for this? That would be an interesting idea. Certainly it worked for Dwarf Fortress. Dwarf Fortress always has had a terrible time convincing people that the art style is anything that they're interested in. But I don't know. I think that'd be kind of a cool opportunity. So I'm going to convert that to moves. I'm going to move that to there. Move that to there. I was liking to try and get to that rabbit. I got a move card. 1, 2, 3. And then I can work the trees, cut down the trees, work the rabbits, work that rabbit, and probably stash that for the end of the turn. So yeah, the art style is just the biggest flaw with this, I think. It works to a certain extent, but it works kind of, it's just like the most basic it could possibly be. The music, I'm pretty sure there's just like one track that's on loop. I'm not listened carefully enough to it to know whether it is. It just kind of blends into the background. I think a lot of people are probably going to... By the time you've been playing it for a couple of hours straight, and that's very, very, very easily doable, I can tell you that for nothing, I think people might be getting to the point where they're like, you know what? I'm just going to turn this off and move to just listening to my own music, which is fine. There is a mute button down here. You can turn it off. It would be nice to be able to actually get into the options menu from here rather than just having a mute all sound option. If there was a little options symbol down here so you could bring up the options menu and, you know, maybe keep the sound effects but lose the music or something, so you can adjust it accordingly. But as it is, all you can do is mute it. I haven't even checked to see if these... Do you lose sound effects? I think you lose sound effects. I haven't even really tested these things. Yeah, I think, yeah. There was no building noise there, so, yeah. It's just total mute, which I kind of feel like, alright, I've heard the soundtrack enough times, it'd be nice to be able to turn the soundtrack off, put Spotify on or what have you, and keep the sound effects, so, you know, you've at least got the sound effects of the game going on. That'd be nice to see. I have 2 breeders here that I really should have done that immediately. At the same time, I actually don't have any food, so that was also a kind of a misplay. Whoopsie! Never mind. It's alright, I'm just going through the motions at this point. But there you go, we got... Ooh, Killer Barbarian is an option as well. So yeah, there's different options, There's going to be different levels of challenge, different things to complete each time. And I haven't even shown you half the buildings. You can see, obviously, it gets crazy complex later on. If you can get to building a theatre, theatres are actually pretty powerful. They're always wildcard dice, which means they always act as any... You can always choose which role you want them to be, but it costs you a good bit of resources, 4 wood and 3 stone and 6 building to get that built. Castles are crazy powerful. They will just give you a crazy ton of victory points. There are victory point dice. If you use a builder on it, you'll gain victory points. It gives you 10 victory points just by building it. And it adds a card to your deck. I didn't even show you any deck building, but if you were to move a Crusader onto the castle, it would convert that dice into a royalty card. If you were to move a healer onto it, it would convert that. It would add that card that you see there into your deck, which is where your kind of minimal deck building thing kind of comes into things. And those cards that are now in your deck just give you victory points. If you can comfortably construct a castle, you're probably pretty close to winning. I will say that much. So, yeah, there's some cool stuff later on, but obviously a lot of them are kind of expensive. They're sort of once you're like 30 turns deep into the game, you might want to start doing those things. But before round 10, it's probably not going to happen. I think it's interesting. I think it's really, really complex. I think people who like just to sit and immerse themselves in a lot of strategy over a long period of time will probably get a kick out of this. As I say, I mean, it took me half an hour to show you failing at the first phase of one of the levels. It's not a quick game. You can't sit down and play this for 5 minutes. You got to want to sit and waste an evening with strategy. And I think you'll know if you're the kind of person who likes sitting and wasting an evening with strategy. And if you do, I think there's some cool stuff going on here. I think it's a pretty interesting game. So yeah, there you have it. That is Axes and Acres. I have been Meroka. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.